evaluating trig functions of 45 degrees. In this example, we're told to find the exact values of sine 45 degrees, cosine 45 degrees, and tangent 45 degrees. One thing I want you to notice is we take sine of an angle and we get a ratio. We're hunting for ratios. Cosine of an angle is a ratio. We're hunting for ratios. Tangent 45 degrees is a ratio. There's the angle. We're looking for the ratio. Well, whenever I can, and I'm being very honest here, whenever I can, I go to my unit circle because I'm doggone good at it. So here's a circle of radius 1, and our theta here is 45 degrees. If you know your special triangles, clearly this will be positive root 2 over 2, and this will be positive root 2 over 2. Why? Because we're coming from 0, 0. We're going to this point xy, which would be root 2 over 2, comma, root 2 over 2 on the unit circle. Well, if we put our coal black eyeballs looking through this angle, opposite over hypotenuse is root 2 over 2 over 1. You can see why I keep on saying on the unit circle, the sign is the y, because when we're dividing by hypotenuse 1, that really doesn't change anything. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. We're still following that idea of SOHCAHTOA, which is root 2 over 2 over 1. I'm not going to deal with 1. And that's why I always say on the unit circle, and unique to the unit circle, because we're dividing by 0, I can just pluck the x off and say cosine is the x. And tangent 45 is y over x, or always opposite over adjacent, which of course is root 2 over 2 divided by root 2 over 2, which will give us 1. If we do the same activity, but we change the angle from 45 to 30 degrees, no big deal. Again, if I'm given a choice, I'm going to go to the unit circle. Now my angle here is 30 degrees. On the unit circle, across from 30 degrees is 1/2, and adjacent is root 3 over 2. Notice that would be 60 degrees here, and there's our right angle. So if we put our baby blue eyeballs, again, looking through our reference angle here in the first quadrant, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or simply the y on a unit circle. So that would be 1/2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, or I can just look at the x. Now, tangent's a little more complicated. Tangent of this angle will be opposite over adjacent, which is 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2. If we keep change flip, that means keep the numerator, 1/2, change division to multiplication, and then flip the denominator, 2 over root 3. Cancel, cancel. Now, those cancel to 1. We're saying 2 divides into 2, 1. So if you want to put 1s there, that's fine. So 1 times 1 is 1 over root 3. And of course, we want to rationalize to get the radical out of the denominator. And when we do that, we get root 3 over root 9, which is 3. So we've got our ratios. Sine of an angle is a ratio. Cosine of an angle is a ratio. Tangent of an angle is a ratio. We're looking for ratios. If we do this one more time and we evaluate sine, cosine, and tangent at 60 degrees, stop me if you've heard this before, I'm going to go to the unit circle. Didn't say I couldn't, so I choose to. And if I put this on a unit circle, that means my hypotenuse, my radius of the circle is 1. And now across from 60 degrees, I have root 3 over 2. And adjacent, I have 1/2. So I put my devil red eyeballs looking through the 60-degree angle. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, or root 3 over 2. That's why you can see on a unit circle, I would say sine is just the y. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, or 1/2 over 1. Now, when I divide by 1, I don't change anything. Tangent of this angle will be opposite over adjacent, or root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. When we keep the numerator, change division to multiplication, and flip the denominator, cancel, cancel. 2 goes into 2 once, so it's not that those go to 0, they go to 1. I get root 3. And again, here's our idea. Sine of an angle is a ratio. We were hunting the ratio. Cosine of an angle is a ratio. We were hunting the ratio. Tangent of an angle, you guessed it, a ratio. We were hunting this ratio. So here is a summary of our findings. Findings we made using the unit circle. Sine of 30 degrees is the same as sine of pi over 6, which is 1/2. Cosine of 30 degrees is the same as cosine pi over 6, is root 3 over 2. Tangent of 30 degrees is the same as tangent pi over 6, was root 3 over 3. Sine 45 degrees is sine pi over 4, is root 2 over 2. Cosine 45 degrees is cosine pi over 4, is root 2 over 2. Tangent 45 degrees is tangent pi over 4, is 1. Sine 60 degrees is sine pi over 3, is root 3 over 2. Cosine 60 degrees is cosine pi over 3, is 1/2. Tangent 60 degrees is the same as tangent pi over 3, which is root 3. Notice, tangent of an angle is a ratio. Cosine of an angle is a ratio. Sine of an angle is a ratio. All of our answers here were ratios. We were looking for ratios. We are hunters of ratios if we're given the angle. And where does the angle go? Tucks right next to our trig function.